It being on or about 6:30 on July 21st, 2025, I call the meeting of the Easton Conservation Commission to order. This meeting is being conducted remotely over Zoom. Attendance by board and commission members shall count towards a quorum. Let's begin as we always do with a roll call to establish that we have quorum to continue the meeting. Carroll, present.
Rossman, present.
I'll go Spadia, present, but Mike, you'd be next after me, or before me.
Oh, okay, thank you. Goodman, present.
Vecchio, present.
All right, let's move to our first order of business, which is general public comment. As a reminder, if anyone's here for this, please raise your hand. The rules of general public comment is you get 2 minutes to tell us something that you want to tell us. We cannot respond until it becomes an agenda item. So if anyone's here for general public comment and would like to bring something to the commission's attention, please raise your hand using the Zoom function. Seeing none, we'll move on to hearings and possible deliberations. Up first is 80 Howard Street, which is a request for determination of applicability for a septic system replacement. Hey, George, how are you?
Good evening. How are you?
Good.
Would you like me to proceed, Mr. Chairman?
Yes, please.
For the record, George Collins, registered professional engineer from Collins Civil Engineering Group. We've submitted a request for determination of applicability associated with access associated with the installation of a Title V pump chamber at 80 Howard Street. The applicant is Suzanne Hurley. If you'd like, I can share my screen.
Yes, please.
Okay. So this is Howard Street up here. There's a long, this is all existing long paved driveway that goes down to an existing dwelling here. And let's see, I am going to zoom in a little bit here. And then this is a bordering vegetated wetland, primarily located off-site. We have wetland flags 1 through 12 shown in green. The associated 50-foot buffer zone is shown in orange, and the 100-foot buffer zone is shown in magenta. This right here is the proposed pump chamber. The pump chamber itself is 107 feet from the wetland flag 7, which is the closest wetland flag to that activity. I am proposing sedimentation control in this particular area here. So essentially, basically, we needed just a little bit of room to back the tank delivery truck onto the property and to deliver the tank and to set the tank. So there'll be an excavation right here, you know, a little bit larger than the tank itself. And the tank truck will come in, back up, set the tank, and then the area will be loamed and seeded after everything's all hooked up and the electrical connections are all made. The wetland delineation was performed by Brooke Monroe, our wetland consultant. So I put this plan together because I wanted to get on the agenda, and this is the applicable part of the project that is within jurisdiction. If you're interested, I could also show you I could share the whole septic design just so you have a little better understanding, if you're okay with that.
I think it'd be helpful to see it if you don't mind.
So let's see here. Let's see. There we go. Is that a different plan there? Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, we were kind of in a big rush, so we just put together the plan showing the applicable portion of the project for the request for determination of applicability application. So the actual leaching field is going up here. There's an existing leaching field up here, and we're putting in a new leaching field. We're utilizing the same force main. There's a 2-inch pipe that pumps up the hill.
Wow.
To the leaching field. And basically that's all existing. So, and that line has been pressure tested, so we know that it can be reused. So again, this, the actual project scope from the commission's perspective is identical. You have the 107 feet to the proposed tank. We have the proposed sedimentation control. And again, it's really just to accommodate the delivery of the tank. This is an existing lawn area, so the tank delivery truck can back down the driveway, deliver the tank, and take off. And then we're going to tie into that existing force main, and that'll, as far as your jurisdiction is concerned, that's where the work will finish. And then up here is where the new leaching field is going to go, which is over 200 feet from the wetland. Just to kind of paint you a picture of the whole project. I'd be more than happy to answer any questions that anybody may have.
I don't think I've ever seen separation that far between a tank and a leaching field in my time here. So
yeah, it's not ideal. This was a design done in the mid 90s, and basically all the soils down here are unsuitable.
Yeah,
but up by Howard Street they are suitable. So basically they needed a new septic system, so we kind of tackled it with a similar approach. And the reason, again, might be more information than you need, but basically what we want to achieve is what's called secondary settling. So we're keeping right now, this is the existing septic tank and existing pump chamber.
Sorry, George, I stopped sharing on you.
Oh,
I thought we were just doing
yeah, no,
I didn't realize
anyways,
you wanted more to show more. Sorry,
yeah,
I did that on you.
That's all right. It's probably more information than you need to know, but basically we're adding the septic tank to provide what's called secondary settling. So the sewage will be settled out twice before it goes to the pump chamber, so it'll technically be cleaner. So we're going to have a bigger, cleaner septic system, more up to date. I spec out 2 compartment tanks on everything that I designed, but in this case, we're converting the pump chamber into a secondary settling tank and going to a new pump chamber. So that's the reason why we're doing all this.
Yeah, I think technically you probably didn't even have to show us the leaching field, but I appreciated it, and I think it's
I just figured I had the information, and I think we posted it as part of the application.
Yeah. So I don't have any more questions for you. Thank you. Jen, do you?
We probably just need 3 of the no disturbance zone markers right along the property line near the wetland.
Okay, let's see here.
Yeah, that's all. We'll just write that on the cover letter.
Okay, so we'll just do 3.
Plenty.
3 markers, like along the lawn there, edge of the lawn.
Yep.
Okay, excellent.
Any questions or comments from other members of the commission? All right, seeing none. Any public comment here for 80 Howard Street? Seeing none, George, I assume you'd like to close?
Yes, please.
Motion to close the public hearing for 80 Howard Street.
Second.
Carol motion, Vecchio second. Roll call vote. Carol, aye.
Rossman, aye.
Spady, aye.
Goodman, aye.
Vecchio, aye.
Motion to issue a determination under the Wetland Protection Act that is a +5 and a -3, and under the local bylaw as a -2 and -3.
Second.
Carol motion, Vecchio second. Roll call vote. Carol, I.
Crossman, aye.
Spady, aye.
Goodman, aye.
Vecchio, aye.
Thank you, George.
Thank you for your time. Have a good night.
You too. Before we move on to amendments to existing permits, I breezed over something important in the agenda. Let's all welcome Michael Goodman. Mike, welcome back after a long break from the Conservation Commission. I probably should have told you that we vote and do quorum in alphabetical order, so you'll fit right in. I had intended to talk about you in other other items not anticipated by the chair, but I see that you were at the top, and I missed you. I apologize.
Yeah, thanks for the clarification. I was trying to figure out where I fit in the pecking order there. So the clarification's good, and I do have a few things for that discussion time.
Perfect. So up next is amendments to existing permit, 642 through 644 Turnpike Street, which has an existing notice of intent and their proposals to change the proposed stormwater system for approved construction of a commercial building and contractor's yard.
They've requested a continuance to August 11th.
Okay. Motion to continue 642 through 644 Turnpike Street to the August 11, 2025 meeting of the Conservation Commission.
Crossman, second.
Carol motion, Crossman second. Roll call vote. Carol, I.
Crossman, aye.
Goodman, aye.
Spady, aye.
Vecchio, aye.
Ben, we do have Garrett here. He's the only, I don't know if Roy is here for anything, but do you want to skip down to, hold on, where are we? 5 Pheasant Lane under enforcement, so Garrett can present and
Of course.
sneak out.
Yeah, so we'll move the agenda to enforcement and we'll take 5 Pheasant Lane. So Garrett, whenever you're ready.
Sorry, that was me.
It's okay.
Hold on a sec.
Take your time.
Video. For some reason, I'm not getting my, okay, here we go. Got it. It's in a different place. Good evening, everyone, and thank you, Jen, for moving me up. So basically, I was contacted by the owner of 5 Pheasant Lane, and he told me that Jen had come out and taken a look, and that, basically there was a cease and desist. So I came out and inspected the property, and hold on a sec, Jen. I'm trying to pull the plan up. I'm having trouble connecting to my server.
Yep.
But basically, I went out and I took a look at the site, and I saw that there were some native plants that were underneath where he cut. It was mostly eastern white pine, and there was one oak tree that he also cut as well. He removed the roots on one oak and one eastern white pine, so there was a soil disturbance. So I basically looked at the site. I delineated the wetland because somebody had previously done it, but in certain areas the wetland boundary was like 5 feet too high. You could tell it's definitely not within the wetland hydrology. It's quite a bit upslope. It's in a lot of upland plants in the wetland boundary. So I basically looked at the soils and looked at the plants, and I adjusted the boundary to where I felt it should be. Then I ran a tape and placed several orange surveyor's ribbons at the 25, 50, and where applicable down the side behind the fence to the 100-foot buffer zone, so that if anybody went out and took a look, they could see where we could see the impacts to the buffer zone. So hold on a sec. I'm trying to get the file here. It's not I'm grabbing it off another computer. I thought I had it and it's not on the flash drive, so it didn't copy. So I apologize. See if I can grab that right now.
I assume what you're looking for is your restoration plan.
Yes. So
Jen, was that put into permatize or did I just see it in the binder?
Should be in the binder.
Just
And
wondering.
so there's no application, so it's not in permanence.
yeah, did that load? I've been having trouble with my
That's all right. Here.
desktop. You probably get it even faster. It's trying to connect
There
to
it
the
is.
server. Okay, thank you. So it's it should be down the last page, the very bottom.
We
Okay,
can't see your screen anymore, Garrett.
okay. Yep. So that's it. So after looking at the what was out in the field, I found many black cherries, seedlings that were approximately a foot high, and I would say there had to be at least 75 to 100 plus. And so basically I saw those. So what I felt, if we're going to replace anything, we should replace the same number of the eastern white pine that were cut, and I believe I put 1 or 2 oaks in there as well. So between those, I felt we covered the trees pretty well. What was lacking was a shrub layer. So what I wanted to do was add several shrubs. So we've added quite a few of the sweet pepper bush and the...
Oops. Sorry, I was looking for the plus to zoom in. Oh, here we are. I'm sorry, Garrett, go ahead. The sweet pepper bush.
Sweet pepper bush, and there are several southern arrowwood and low bush blueberry, high bush blueberry. So I wanted to make sure that we had a good mix of what I found in the adjacent uplands. So that's what we tried to do, fix those areas. I don't feel that really any of those stumps will come back because they're eastern white pine, and they were relatively large in diameter. So we had a range from approximately 8 inches to 2.5 feet were the diameters, diameter at breast height, which is 4.5 feet. So that's what we had for a range for the stumps. That's what I estimated. So I think it's pretty accurate. So we wanted to replace those trees that were cut, but then again, because those were cut and some of these may not survive, I wanted to make sure we had a good density of, a nice mix of the but the shrub and tree layer. As far as the herbaceous layer, there were a few invasive plants, and we're proposing to remove those first. A lot of them can be weeded. There was one large eastern burning bush that should also be cut and treated. We can do that. So I'm not certain if we would start the actual ecological restoration as far as plantings until possibly the spring. And the reason being is I want to get those invasives out of there. There's oriental bittersweet. There was climbing nightshade. There were several. So I'd like to have those removed and eradicated prior to the restoration, if that's okay with the commission and Jen.
I think that makes sense.
And there is a layer of duff or leaf litter, and it's more pine needles than leaf litter. So we have a natural layer. The only area that needs to be restored is the area where the soil was removed. The bee horizon could easily be seen in the pile that was inside of the siltation barrier, the staked and tucked silt fence. So that material could be replaced back into the ground. And also, I believe there's an A layer there as well. It looked like a 2210YR, so that could also be used. That may need to be improved if we don't have enough of an A layer. So therefore, he may need some either soil amendments, or I would recommend a fine sandy loam of 10YR21 to 10YR22, which can easily be allocated. And we don't need much, so it's not a large area. So this could easily be done. I believe the client is a landscaper. He would do this himself, and I would supervise. So that's the path that I believe the client and I will take. And we would do that, of course, in the spring. That area will need to be seeded, and I've recommended using New England, the wildlife mix, conservation mix in that area. So that's what we would use. We could also use a little bit of the dry grass mix to put in there to also make sure it's stabilized. That usually comes in a little quicker than the other. So especially if it's dry. So I typically like to mix those. I don't believe I included that, but that's something that we would look at depending upon if we have a real dry, like February and March, we would probably add that for planting in early April. So that's pretty much, I think, everything. Does anyone have any questions?
Just a quick one, if you have deer protection in the spring for the newly planted.
Yeah, the cloches, I would have him install those on them. And so it'd be basically, Jen, 3.5 feet to 4 feet tall. Hardware cloth, fine mesh, chicken wire, basically. That would be encircled around the each plant. 2 stakes driven in one on each side, and then the top folded down. So we would allow plenty of room for several years of growth. So that's the way I typically design it.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I think the plan is very appropriate, and we appreciate the property owner working with us after enforcement. Sometimes just getting responses can be the most difficult part of these things.
I don't think he understood the wetland regulations, and then when he found out he was in violation, he wanted to make sure it got corrected. So
He definitely did, and we appreciate it. And I think the whole getting rid of the invasives first always makes the most sense, although it creates a delay in the whole process. It probably winds up being a net benefit to the ecosystem by the time it's done.
yes, I have a much higher success rate by either managing or eradicating the invasives prior to planting. It's a lot harder once you get the plants in, especially if they come up through the roots. I have a situation like that right now on Route 6A on the Cape with Phragmites, but it's a huge stand, so there's nothing we could do, so we're treating them now. They just, the runners came over and they're underneath all of the wetland replication plantings, as we knew that was going to happen. But so in the situation where we can avoid it, I think we can do that here. I think it works best.
Agreed. Questions or comments from other members of the commission? Jen, I feel like every time we do one of these, I have to relearn the process. I apologize. Do we need a vote on the plan here?
I'll just vote on the restoration plan.
And then logistically, what happens? Right? Do they get an order of some kind?
No, we'll just send them a letter that says the plan was approved, and we expect them to begin in the fall. And
All right.
we'll follow through as they proposed. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Motion to approve the proposed restoration plan for 5 Pheasant Lane.
Beatty, second.
So moved.
Carol motion, Spadia second. Roll call vote. Carol, aye.
Crossman, aye.
Goodman, aye.
Spady, aye.
Vecchio, aye.
Thank you very much. Before I go, are there any questions for 23 Owl Ridge? I can't remember if we closed the public hearing on that or not.
We're looking at certificate of compliance
Yes. Does anyone?
coming up. So that'll be next, and the treasurer signed off, so it's actually okay to issue a full.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, everyone. Have a good evening.
Garrett,
too.
thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks. Bye.
Up next, certificate of compliance. First up is 29 Owl Ridge. We're waiting for some comment from the treasurer. That's been signed off. Jen, good for a full COC?
Yep.
Motion to issue a certificate of compliance for 29 Owl Ridge.
Crossman, second.
Carol motion, Crossman second. Roll call vote. Carol, aye.
Crossman, aye.
Goodman, aye.
Spady, aye.
Vecchio, aye.
Next is 201 Prospect Street, which was also waiting for a certificate of compliance. It appears the treasurer has also signed off on this one. Anything else here, Jen?
No. Ready for a full certificate?
Motion to issue a certificate of compliance for 201 Prospect Street.
Spady, second.
Carol motion, Spady a second. Roll call vote. Carol, I.
Grossman, aye.
Goodman, aye.
Spady, aye.
Vecchio, aye.
Up next is 8 Lyman Wheelock Road. This one also appears to be ready to go. Treasurer's sign off.
Correct.
Jen, no objection.
Nope.
Motion to issue a full COC for 8 Lyman Wheelock Road.
Vecchio, second.
Carol motion, Vecchio second. Roll call vote. Carol, I.
Grossman, aye.
Goodman, aye.
Spady, aye.
Vecchio, aye.
Which brings us to 42 Caroline Road.
We have the signature from, or the sign off from the treasurer, so this is also ready for a full.
Very good. Motion to issue a certificate of compliance for 42 Caroline Road.
Spady, a second.
Carol motion, Spady a second. Roll call vote. Carol, I.
Grossman, aye.
Goodman, aye.
Spady, aye.
Vecchio, aye.
Moving back to enforcement. First up is 101 Lincoln Street. Vegetation removal along the pond. Have we heard anything back from the DPW on this one, John?
Yes, we had a meeting on Thursday. We were notified that they claimed some of the work was because of storm damage, but did not have any photographs. They do not have enough time to write a wetland permit, and they asked that the next time they come in for a wetland permit, they can let you know what happened.
How big of
In
an
another
area?
month or two.
Do you have photographs of this?
Yeah.
Are you able to show them now, or should we talk about this at another time?
No, I didn't prepare them for tonight.
How big of an area are we talking about?
75 yards across.
By
What's
how
that?
deep?
How deep?
Yeah, so it's I
5 or
haven't been
10,
out to this,
maybe
to be
10.
honest. So it's directly it's behind town pool, right?
It is that, yeah, that pond, we'll call it the drainage of that town pool, right on the shoreline that cut down all those, just on the trees on that shoreline. They're pretty large, like, 13-inch, 15-inch diameter, trees have been there for quite a while.
So it's roughly 75 yards of the pond shoreline area, and then how far inland?
5 feet.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So it's a strip. It's a problem, but it's a strip.
Correct.
They'll be in eventually.
All right. I think I would just like to see some photographs of what it is, or I'll go out between now and next meeting and see what it looks like.
Yep.
Ben, I'll be there tomorrow morning too. I go there. I can send you one if you want, but by all means
If
go
you-
there. But
Yeah, if you could snap me a photo, I'd appreciate it, but I'll
course.
still hit it.
yep, not a problem.
And then we did 5 Pheasant, and now 8 Lyman Wheelock.
Yeah, we just gave her a certificate of compliance, so she's ready to have her violation released, and that I usually just send a letter.
Do you need a motion?
Sure.
Motion to release the violation from 8 Lyman Wheelock Road.
Grossman,
Vecchio,
second.
second.
Carol motion, Crossman second. Roll call vote. Carol, I.
Grossman, aye.
Goodman, abstain.
Spady, aye.
Vecchio, aye.
Moving on to board discussion. Review meeting minutes, 6/30/25. Anybody have a motion to make?
I didn't have time to review them this time. I apologize.
I didn't grab them this week.
Motion to accept. While I was not a sitting member, I was a publicly present member, and I find the minutes to be in order.
Second.
Goodman motion, Vecchio second. Roll call vote. Carol, I.
Grossman, aye.
Goodman, aye.
Spady, aye.
Vecchio, aye.
95 Union Street, wetland alteration letter sent.
Yes, we just haven't had a reply back from the property owner yet.
Okay. Up next, I have Mulberry Brook Conservation Area culvert.
So Jen and I and this neighbor David had taken us out to Mulberry Brook. It's kind of in between Samwright Field and that smaller parking lot adjacent to the larger parking lot where the garden is for Wheaton Farm. So we hiked out there. This is a culvert area that has now essentially kind of collapsed or just degraded over the years. It's and so now the water is kind of highly flowing over, and it's been like this a little bit before COVID times. So like 2019, 2018, it's just progressively gotten worse. So yeah, it kind of made the trail impassable. There is some rock work that people have done to try to get by, but any kind of high water, it's actually kind of dangerous to honestly pass. Um, Jen and I, it proposed maybe something in the works of maybe getting Chris Patrick on this to maybe hopefully we could use him out there and maybe we could build some type of bridge. It'd be kind of an extensive job just due to the fact it'd probably be pretty high, but I'm sure he'd be the guy to do the job. But that is my Mulberry Brook speech.
Is that something we'll need a permit for, Mike?
I would assume so, right? Yeah.
So this is what's always fun is I don't want to put the onus of getting the permit on him. Is that something that we can kind of work on as we can work on it?
Yep.
Cool.
I just think it's probably easier to put something together and then make it happen.
Yes. Yeah. He's the trail guy, not the permit guy. I get it.
I think he'd probably be relieved if we handed him a project fully permitted and ready to go. Is really what I'm trying to say.
Slam dunk.
All right, that's good. Thank you for doing that, Mike.
Yeah, not a problem.
And then CPC updates, Phil.
Yeah, so we've kind of had just a round robin meeting last week or 2 weeks ago. Last meeting. Basically, I know that the CPC is going to be accepting up to 3 applications for. Oh my gosh, my brain is going absolutely nuts. We're accepting 3 applications for grants at our next meeting, which is August 14th. And I believe, Jen, if I'm not mistaken, we have a grant application in for, is it Wheaton Farm or Tuss Farm?
Hopefully both.
There are 4 applications in, but one has to do with purchase of property, but that was one of the grants that I had to give back, and we haven't heard back from the property owner. So
Gotcha.
We didn't quite withdraw it, but we just sort of left it hanging. So we probably need to withdraw that one, but there would be Tufts Farm, Wheaton Farm, Barn, and if we're interested in going forward with continuing to evaluate the other 2 ponds for invasive species and to start working on permits to manage the invasive species in New Pond and Old Pond.
Yeah. Yeah, so we'll see what the meeting brings on August 14th.
Let us know when you want some attendance at those meetings too. I don't know if you need us for the 14th, but I just found that I guess I don't know why, but I think that is helpful to show that there's support from the commission aside from just the CPC member.
Sure. Well, yeah, with that said, by all means, I think it would be helpful to be there on the 14th. Again, much like the Concom CPC meetings are held on Zoom, and I believe the link is publicly available, but if not, I'm more than happy to circulate that once it comes out.
Thank you, Phil.
Of course.
And Phil, did they mention anything about the open space support letter, open space plan?
It was briefly mentioned, but it kind of got sidetracked with some other business that we were talking about.
Okay.
Did you have anything particular you wanted me to highlight in our next meeting?
I mean, we're still waiting for support letters from CPC and Historical Commission, so it's helpful if you ask for a little reminder.
Sure. Noted.
Chair updates. I guess I just want to say, read the Mass Ready Act,
Yes.
and we should have a conversation about how we can utilize some of the money that appears that it's going to exist for the town. I read the Mass Ready Act, and there's a lot of money for exactly the stuff that we've been talking about for as long as I've been here. dam projects, waterway projects, invasive species management projects, supporting agricultural resources in the town. It seems like I'm not exactly sure how we go about getting them, but I think we really need to be thinking about how we use that.
I would move along also to section 51 and read that extremely closely because there are many changes proposed to Wetland Protection Act. I'm drafting my letter now, but comments are due on the 29th.
Where is that bill actually legislatively, if you know?
I think it's with it's going to be the wrong name, but like the Natural Resources Committee.
I just think, regardless of where you find yourself, if that gets passed, we'd be fools not to take advantage of it. Such is life. That is my only chair update. Environmental planner updates. Jen, what do you have for us?
Just a question about our Conservation Commission signs. They were ready many months ago. We were told not to install them. And then there's been a little back and forth with yes and no to install them. But we do have a local business who's actually finished all of the signs. I got them some money. I asked them for an invoice to at least get them a partial payment. But our replacement signs are just sort of sitting in their warehouse, and
yeah, it's probably time
a
to
local company. I don't want to keep that for too long with them just holding product. All they have to do is install the signs. So I'm not sure. I think there may have been some discussion at town meeting, or it's all CPC funded except for one of the signs was a donation from a resident. I'm not sure if it's okay to say yes, please install the signs and close that out so we can give them their final payment, or if
sure I'm supposed to know this, but do you know how much it'll cost to install them?
It's part of their contract.
If we partially paid or fully paid the contract?
We partially paid. I asked them for it. I felt awful that we've had them waiting for so long that I asked them for a partial bill, so they did give me that.
I think, we probably only have one way out, and that's through. So I think I'm in support of putting the signs that we've mostly paid for up and finishing that project.
If I may ask, how much is left in, what would be the final payment?
Could be, might be 20,000.
We've already allocated the money for it and everything.
Oh yeah, it's a CPC grant that was approved previously. Yeah, there's no match from the town. It's just, or there might be one match from the town out of our budget.
Sure. Yeah, I kind of agree with Ben. Let's get it done.
Yeah. Okay. Just want to make sure everybody's okay with that.
So just trying to get back up to speed on this. This was something Stefan and Rory and myself, we had worked on this when I left 6 years ago. We had made a plan to do, 3 or 4 signs a year. These are the large wooden signs we're talking about, correct, Jen? The one that the vendor does the wood cutting of the letters?
Well, they're not wooden anymore. We were told they had to match the other wayfinding signs, and so they will look like the other new signs that are installed throughout town.
So this would be like, I know back then we did it, the ones that we did do were done on a, which ones were in the worst shape. So we did, for example, back then would have been, I think the last ones were Willis Buckfield. And so this is going to be like the one on 106 at the curve for Black Brook. And will this complete all the signs that are, that we have for our areas?
No, I think we're paying, we were able to get maybe 10 or 12 signs done.
Okay. Which part of what I was going to bring up later, but we're here on it, so that's good. Any idea what's sitting? I know when again, 6 years ago, we had 2 accounts. We had one account that had, was for different things, some of your expenses, or I should say the agent's expenses at the time. And that had a balance of, I don't know, $10,000, $11,000. And then we had the other account that we were drawing the sign monies out of, and that had I don't know, it was right around or a little bit over 100,000. And we just, we were very judicious. That's all we spent was the signs. Now do we still have those funds available to us to keep working on signs and other things, or?
We have the accounts, but there's not nearly that much money in there. A lot of the funding went to taking care of Tufts Farm in between tenants.
Yeah, that I could see that happening. That was a lot of work and still is a lot of work. It's a great thing over there, but that's I think it's a bigger project than everybody thinks. There's a lot of moving parts over there. So
Large site.
yeah, thanks for the clarification on the sign. So I guess maybe yeah, 10 or 12 is good, and I guess maybe we've got to obviously figure out a way to get more money for more signs, since we have all these beautiful areas, but a lot of people don't know about, some of them, obviously everybody knows about Wheaton Farm, but a lot of people, for it being next to the road, people don't know about Tufts.
Yeah.
I even back when I got on the commission, having been born and raised here, and I never really paid much attention other than driving your car fast over that hill down on Elm Street. But Monty's is tremendous, both the up gradient site and the downside on the edge of the farm there. They're beautiful, but there's nowhere to park, nowhere to enjoy them, and our citizens don't know about a lot of our areas. So we've got to do better on that. I think somehow we've got to work with our town IT service to somehow make our web page better, to point out these sites and the different features, because there's a lot of people missing the boat. Even the same for Smith Farm, we used to call it the Tisdale House, and there's a lot of activities there. We just, and I'm not talking spending money. I mean, we have IT people.
No, and I think
spend a couple hours on the website.
I think our trail maps posted online are actually, they're pretty good right now. If you went, went site by site, I think a lot of people also are using apps like All Trails and stuff if they're trying to find a new site. I think one thing we could definitely be better with is kiosks, trailhead kiosks, and then just making sure someone's consistently marking trails as you get out there. Like the ones where people go all the time, I think are really well marked. The ones where you're often out there for an afternoon and don't bump into anybody, a little less well marked. So I think you're right, though. There's definitely an accessibility component to all that.
Those are all big projects listed in our open space plan.
Yeah. Jen, did you have any other environmental planner updates?
I do not.
Okay, so Michael, that brings us to any pertinent item not reasonably anticipated by the chair. Did you have anything else you wanted to add? I don't have something at this time I want to put in.
No, that was the big thing. I got a couple others, but I want to flesh them out a little bit and have make them a little more readable, a little more understandable, other than my own scratch notes here.
Yeah, we can make these topics agenda items after discussions too.
Yeah, that was one thing I wanted to ask you and Jen. What is your preferred, as these random thoughts pop here, what is the preferred means of communicating? Email, both of you, text? What's easiest for you? Both.
I am much less likely to ignore a phone call than a text message. Is the honest truth about me.
No,
either work. And I think call me, text me anytime, and we'll keep figuring out how to get stuff on. I do think take a look at the open space plan, though. It might show you where our goals and planning have been over the past couple of years. I can get you a copy of that.
Yeah, that'd be great. And I've got this Mass Ready here, this Mass Ready Act up.
Jen, did you say section 51? I know that's not an on the record conversation.
Yeah.
Isn't that just a list of definitions?
Nope.
Okay.
And 51. What time were you thinking of heading over there? Not to be all over the place, but that just sometimes happens. What time were you heading over to the town pool tomorrow, Michael?
I go on a morning hike. I'm with dogs, so it could range from. It's gonna be like 5:30 in the morning, so I'm up pretty early. So I'll probably not going to be meeting up with you out there. It'll be kind of a quick thing if I'm going to go out there. But if you
Oh,
want,
yeah, I was gonna say I gotta
plan something
gotta-
around tomorrow though.
Yeah, I got a downtown appointment at 6:45, so that's why I was asking. I was like, oh, I could stop there on the way
Gotcha.
or back. I did go up the other day, so just so we're on the same page. So we're talking about when you go over to the you're talking the big pine trees by the inlet.
Up the hill.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Where what's his name? Where Jim hangs out and cleans things up.
Yes, where Jim hangs
Yeah,
out.
that spot there. So you're talking those pines, those limbs, and then that sort of, I guess, shoreline there.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, because I went up and looked, and it was hard from the last time. I stop up there occasionally. He grew up here, I grew up here, so I pop in if I'm driving by, and
It's kind of forgettable, which is sad, but you wouldn't really realize what was missing. I have a picture, which definitely helps. If anyone needs to see it, I can circulate it. But you're like, oh wow, there's
that'd be
a lot
good.
more trees here than we had thought. You definitely, again, I look at it, I even forget. I'm like, oh yeah, there was a lot there because it
Sure,
looks really bare. And it's
that would help.
yeah,
No, you're right. You're right. Now that you say it in that way, because now that I'm thinking the last time that I was up there, we were swapping some recipes and stuff, and I seem to remember, there was a lot of hanging down brush into the view. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, if you could send that over, that'd be great.
Sure.
Get something to compare before after type thing.
For sure.
I would just say if people have items for the agenda you want to discuss for open meeting law, they do need to be on the agenda for us to have a discussion. So please send them to me at least a week before the meeting so I can add it, please.
1 week. Gotcha.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Yep.
Appreciate that.
Yep. 1 week. Got it.
Oh, Nate, you're muted.
I think we're at. Anybody have a final motion?
I was just gonna say the 51 you're looking for is below the 51 you're looking at. It's at the bottom. I don't know why they're out of order, but they are.
Thank you. No, that's really helpful. Thank you.
It's not about feed law or whatever the definitions were. It's further down. Motion to close.
Carol second. Crossman motion. Carol second. Roll call vote. Carol I.
Rossman, aye.
Goodman, aye.
Spady eye.
That's you, I.
Hey, thanks everyone.
Take
All right,
care.
everybody.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.